When I think about the counselor, I think about all the things that we have questions for, right? Many of us have questions about our lives, our situations, marriages, our jobs, our employment, our children, and so forth. When I think about that, and you say, hey, who can I talk to? Why not the counselor? The counselor is here. He's here for you. So call the counselor. 10 to 2, the counselor.
Hi, this is the Counselor Live, and I'm your host, Sheldon Stovall. So today we are continuing our conversation on body images, right? So we're going to start talking about male versus body image. We're going to go over some ideas of how they are different and how there are some similarities. We're also going to discuss fatism, disability, illness, and maybe some non-normative body images that sometimes people have confusion about. So when we say non-normative bodies, we're meaning someone that may have lost a limb, or someone that might have like a twisted ankle, so they're walking a little bit different. So all of these things have to do with our social society and how we view one another, and a lot of it is because of lack of understanding. All right, so far the research that we've been going over here has shown that the male and female body images share many of the same features. So women and men, boys and girls, we all deal with consequences of negative body image, right? So somewhere, somebody down the line is going to not feel comfortable about how they look, right? So we're going to talk about that. So some of these studies do point towards males being affected a little less severely than females. So a comparative study was conducted on how male and female body image dissatisfaction is an experience that we sometimes want to just simplify. Some people feel self-conscious when with attractive people of the other sex. So if you ever notice, I know I used to when I was younger, if you look around at your friends, if they like a girl, you can tell because they start squinting funny, they start putting on a deeper voice, you know what I mean, and saying, y'all mean. You know, the whole personality starts to change, right? So when the topic of conversation pertains to physical experience or appearance, some people also start feeling a little uncomfortable. So if you have, you know, if everybody's in there talking about someone's size or the fact that they have a lesser sized chest than some other females, that person, even if you're not talking about her or him, they're going to start feeling a little self-conscious, like, wow, so I guess there's an issue with how I look with even my friends, right? So sometimes when we're having these discussions, we don't really know who we're affecting. And then all of a sudden you go text that friend the next day and you don't get a text back. And then it says block when you call and you're wondering what happened. How did I lose my best friend? Yeah, you said something terrible in front of them that affected even them, right? So you have to be careful even in your conversations when you're talking about people, or if you're upset and say that skinny little something or that fat something or something of that nature. You know, other people can pick up on that and they might get upset, right? So you want to make sure that you're thinking about things that you're saying before you say it. Even recreational activities. And this reported that both men and women experience negative emotions. A lot of them were moderate to sometimes very often, right, where the response is. So sometimes even when you're playing sports or you're involved in a sports activity, right, sometimes, oh, you're too fat, you can't dunk, or you're too short, you can't dunk, or, you know, you can't grip the ball because your hands are small. Those things really do affect people, right? So this is how, if some of you guys are starting to wonder, how are you losing friends? Like, how am I losing my best friend of years? You're now projecting what you've learned from society onto your friends, and some people aren't happy with it, right? So how are men and women's body different, right? So men seem to be more prone to atypical eating disorders and substance use than women, right? So sometimes, and often if you do know friends who use, they'll say, oh, well, this keeps me thin, right? Or this keeps my stomach flat, right? Or when we're working out and it's spring, it's March 29th, and you finally got the last piece of body weight off you, right? And you just can't get it off. Oh, I'll just smoke a couple days and I'll be good, or something of that nature, right? Or pop some pills or drink a couple days, right? So some people use substance abuse to maintain their weight. So that's very serious. And I do remember a study in California, and that's when they started to ban the ephedra, right? Because they had all these wealthy ladies, these housewives, walking around high and tweaked out, right? Because they were giving it to them in the pill bottle. And so, they had to actually make ephedra illegal because a lot of these weight loss pills were drugs, right? So men tend to be quieter about body negativity. So you don't really hear, at least I don't hear when I'm hanging out with the guys, oh, hey, John, do you think I'm fat? Yes, you are, right? You don't hear that very often when you're hanging out with the guys. You don't really hear that, oh, do I look fat in this? They'll be looking at you like, are you all right, bro? Right. So that's not often mentioned when it comes to men. Seeking treatment, right? A lot of men do not seek treatment. They'll hold off longer. Women, they'll kind of go in because they know they got to get themselves together, whatever substance abuse or issues you're dealing with. But the men, we seem to, with our pride, we seem to typically will want to wait until the end of our journey, literally. And some of us don't make it to that end, right, before it's too late. So, men, you want to start thinking about trying to get some of these things taken care of, right? Some researchers say men are typically more satisfied with their physical appearance and less likely than women to exhibit body change behaviors, right? So again, it starts in the locker room when we all take our shirts off. Everybody's got flat chests and skinny arms, right? There might be one that's been working out in the summer, but other than that, guess what? We all look the same, right? So we start feeling a little bit more comfortable, like in the shower, and as far as females concerned, they're in the gym, they're hanging out with each other. All again, I'm not sure exactly what happens in the locker room, and maybe some of you guys can kind of share it. But again, it typically works out that the men are less likely to exhibit the body image behaviors. Other researchers insist that men still struggle with body image. They say men are caught feeling either too thin or too heavy to meet the male ideal. So yes, even men, sometimes we feel like, okay, I'm too skinny, especially some of these 15 and 16-year-olds when they, they're killing themselves at the gym. You see their arms shaking, they're lifting like 200 pounds and their muscle hasn't moved. All right. This is all about the male ideal, what you're thinking that you should look like based on what you've seen. Right. So you have to understand that your body is going to look like how your body is. It's going to develop the way your body should develop. Right. So main body image also tends to be more misunderstood, the female body, than the men. Right. So what is the main guy supposed to look like? Which actor? All these actors, everybody goes to the gym now. Everybody works out. Everybody has different body types, right? Some of the shorter guys got these big arms like Joe Giudice on the Housewives and Joey, the other one, they're walking around these little short guys with big arms, right? So men have different body types, right? Men are presumed to be mainly concerned with a perceived lack of muscle, when in fact, male body image can be much more complex. So once it comes, like I said, everybody's in the gym now. When it comes to time in the summer, everybody's pulling off the shirts and still realizing there's always going to be somebody bigger than you walking in, right? If you watch wrestling or if you lived in LA, you've been around basketball players, there's always going to be somebody bigger than you. There's always going to be someone taller than you. There's always going to be someone shorter than you. So these are images that we always find complex, that we have issues with, right? Some researchers claim that women are simply exposed to more social situations that make them feel dissatisfied with their body, right? So if you're in these, like say a wedding party, and you're one of the bridesmaids, right? And then they go dress fitting, and oh my gosh, everyone's starting to feel self-conscious, and oh, how was she looking in this dress versus me, right? So there's always some type of social issue. When we go as men to the tuxedo shop, we're all sitting there laughing and just getting fitted, and and we're gonna all show up in the suit that was put on us, right? So we're not worried about how it fits, right? Most of us. All right, so it's sometimes something to think about, right? So the numbers reflect that women are more dissatisfied than men. All right, so, and that's again due to society, due to our social media, and the increasing levels of social media, which we're going to be talking about soon, right? So boys and body image. So now we want to talk about adolescents. So adolescent boys, they reach puberty and experience the range of hormones. They sometimes can be susceptible to judgment about their bodies as much as girls can be in puberty, right? So boys, when we start getting a little older, reaching puberty, right, some of us get taller quicker, right? So some of us are taller once we hit 7th grade. Some of my friends shot right up. We were all the same size. When we left school, we get back in school, and this one's like 6 feet tall in 6th grade, right? So people, their body starts changing even during puberty. So it's important that you don't judge yourself because you haven't developed like everyone else yet, or if you're overly developed, right? Some of these young females are developed early, right? And people are, mentioning things about their body, which is inappropriate, right? Oh, I didn't know she was younger. Okay, well, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that anyways, right? So we got to remember to be respectful even to the younger females. So just as in the study, male body images researchers are torn on the issue that the media's effect on the way boys view their body. It might be difficult. So I just got some research numbers I wanted to give you guys. So as far as how does the media affect boys, okay? So subliminal media messages do influence boys, especially in the available choice and popular Halloween costumes. So if you guys ever look at the TikToks during Halloween, no one has a shirt on, obviously, because that's our most attractive feature, I guess. So, there's suspenders with whatever color shorts or something tight. So even the choice of Halloween costumes can affect someone's body image or is influenced by the social media. Supersized costumes, choices with padded abdominal chest, right? Some of the superheroes, everybody's always trying to look like a superhero. I think that if you ever go to Comic-Con, you can see some of the live superhero people that had surgery, right, to look like certain heroes, right? Taking out a rib here and having their cheeks adjusted, right? So people getting chest augmentations, adding muscles, they have that image of what they want to look like. Influence of body ideal begins early with padded costumes. So we're saying that even children, when they're younger, when they're pretending in Halloween to be He-Man, there's pads. So when they're striking their muscles, they're like, yes, look at my big muscles, right? So what are we doing? We're selling the idea to that child when they're young that that's how they look good. That's how they're powerful, they're mighty, because they have big arms. Okay, so the researcher also argues this is due to the media's pressure on males, even young boys and toddlers, to desire to have a sculpted body, right? So all the magazines, especially when I was younger, any star that had muscles was always on the front cover, right? So the media is going to always sell that to us. And when you think about it, how many gyms do we have in this country? Right? How many weight trainers do we have in this country? Right? How many modeling agencies do we have, right? I want you guys to think about the questions I'm asking. All right? So how many natural supplement companies are out there, manufacturers, right? Clothes makers, designers, right? These people sit down at a table every morning and they discuss how they're going to market their product to you, right? So what do you like? What is your interest? So when you're sitting there liking all these photos of people with a size 0 waist that's been photoshopped. For example, have you guys ever met a star in Hollywood? All right, so living out in LA, my first time being there, of course, I'm running into people because I don't really watch too much TV. I can tell you the 3 stations I watch. One's Bravo, I can't remember the other one, Peacock, and there's another one. I watch a few stations, right, for a few shows. So when I watch these shows, right, I'm not sure if I'm going to run into these people or not. I remember I walked into a restaurant and the entire Grey's Anatomy people were there. And I just was hungry, and I just happened to just wander in, right? And, I'm talking to people at the bar and things like that. I'm social. Had no idea that I was talking to stars of Grey's Anatomy. They were just celebrating, I guess, another season. So, I walked away with a couple numbers. Again, I had no idea, of course. But yes, things like that. Like, I didn't even know, but yeah, I did watch that show a few times, right? So sometimes the image that you see on TV may not be what that person really looks like. I remember running into Redman and what was the other guy that hung out with Redman? I can't remember. But I ran into them even in Connecticut one time. And I'm sitting there talking, oh, look at all the girls out here after the club. And guess what? I had no idea. My friends are like, do you know who you're talking to? I'm like, no. I didn't know. So I guess I'm lucky. I run into TV stars, right? All right. But again, people look different. And I actually did listen to his songs. And I think I watched a few of the videos. But again, people look different than they're projected on TV. That's my point. All right. So the media does not affect boys. So how does the media not affect boys? So bodily development during puberty into the larger, more muscular male keeps boys from being too concerned with media messages. So once we figure it out that we can go to the gym, start working out, get that 6-pack, that's what we do. We start doing it, right? High metabolism, low fat gain. So, I've mentioned that a few times. There are some people with a high metabolism, which means, right? So if they're eating 4 Whoppers, and I know a few people, not even their stomach won't even move because they have a high metabolism. They're burning off all that fat right away as soon as they're going in their body, right? Natural muscle development. Some people just are built stocky, right? They're built differently. They may not be working out. Growth spurts, right? You start getting taller for no reason. Your feet get big. You got a size 17 foot now, right? You start changing. The broadening of your chest, right? Your shoulders and your jaw are ideal features of the adolescent male that match society's male body ideal. We're all beautiful, everybody. 18, 17, 15, right? We're going to turn into that same beautiful thing as everybody else. The sad part is once you get past 40 and 50, now you got to stop worrying about looking up. You got to start worrying about not looking like everybody else, right? All right. And then this in opposition to men's body that may have relaxed since puberty, and women and girls' bodies that grow in size and shape, all of which are opposite of society's ideals. So I use this research because it's outside this country. We want to stop being sold, right? We want to stop being sold what we should look like, what we should sound like, right? We should hang out with, what size your best friend should be, right? We need to change our ideals. All right. So if you or someone you know may be experiencing some body image issues and needs to speak with someone, please give me a call. You can call here at the Counseling Network. The phone number is 413-370-9937. You can email me at promo@thecounselor.live, or you can slide up in my DMs. The Counselor.
When I think about the counselor, I think about all the things that we have questions for, right? Many of us have questions about our lives, our situations, marriages, our jobs, our employment, our children, and so forth. When I think about that, and you say, hey, who can I talk to? Why not the counselor? The counselor is here. He's here for you. So call the counselor. 10 to 2, the counselor.